Hello everyone and welcome back to Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Someone requested that I show the first section of Iron Keep. Just to, I guess, show how to deal with the Alon Knights. So I'll just do that now. I hope I'll do okay. So just for reference, my equipment is a Dragon Lake Shield, 8 Knight Sword plus 8 and a Short Bow plus 3. Do you even have the... I don't have the stats to use the Dragon Rider bow. I would definitely recommend using some kind of bow. But the short bow plus 3 should be ample. And the first knight is actually... he's kind of standing at the back of this bridge. And this is a common PvP spot, so if you're going here and you're playing online, you might very well get invaded. It's a very active PvP zone. I think he's standing just about here by default. But he has got high aggro range, so you'll probably aggro and you'll encounter him somewhere in the middle of the bridge. Then next, before opening this gate, I've already done and shown that, but there are two NPC invasions here. Armorer Dennis on this side and Fencer something or other on this side. Sharon, something like that? I don't know. Anyway, that lady with the two swords. Is it a lady? I don't even know. Anyway. So before opening this gate, I would suggest you do those two invasions first. So kill one of them, go back to the bonfire, rest, and then do the other one. And then when you go in here, there's one guy who will come at you from all the way back there. You can't even see where he stands, but just go in and you can pull him quite a long way back, which I would suggest. Because up there where that corpse is, there's an archer guy. Now he's already seen me and I've walked back, so he will basically currently be trying to find me, and there he is. Also, I can actually do that now since I've turned off the flame traps, which affect even this place. I can get the iron key. I don't even remember what that opens, but you can also get this while this flame trap is still active. You can either go up there and get some of the water urns and then jump down. The water urns, when you roll through them, they make you wet, which gives you a bunch of fire resistance. Otherwise, you can kind of touch it from the side if you're very careful, and I know it's possible to get it without triggering the trap damage at all, but that might be very, very finicky. Otherwise, I'd suggest just switch every piece of equipment to whatever has the highest fire resistance for you. Go in, grab the key, and then very quickly get out. The flame does not kill you instantly. Okay, so the next guy is up here. This is where the archer stood, but I don't think... well, this might actually be the archer, but basically there's two guys up here. And as you approach, that's the entrance down there, as you approach, one of them at least will see you and eventually make his way down these sets of stairs. So then this is a secret wall, behind which there is this ballista, and this door here is also a secret wall. Now you can use the ballista to attack this guy, but it won't kill him. It'll do, I don't know, maybe half his life. So I'll just backstab him and get the one-hit kill. But then be careful, because you already aggroed the next guy. The section that follows is kind of annoying. This guy in particular is one of those people who notice when you're aiming at him. So I would suggest using whatever ranged option you happen to have. And then one shot and then get out the way. And well, he still shoots. He basically, even when he can't see you, he will still shoot at you, as you could see. So just something to bear in mind. And that's that guy done. Now these guys have an insane aggro range, so really proceed very slowly here. The annoying thing is that the aggro range is so large that sometimes they are kind of not even properly rendered by the time they de-aggro. Okay, so let's shoot those guys. I think I should get them both that way. Actually, apparently not. Okay, so that's a good way to get these guys. There's two of them standing there kind of right on top of each other. Can I get you? I can get you. Now be aware the captain, all the way before the smelter boss, has just fired an arrow at me, so... I would suggest going back in here. I think the guy should follow. Well, apparently not. Oh well. Now very careful, I think he's still firing arrows at me and this guy is aggroed. And also two more guys are aggroing from behind now. It is really, really dangerous here. If you have trouble dealing with these guys, simply because... staggered. Okay. Ow. Ow! Now get out the way. I would really love to be in here. Thank you. The danger is, as with many other sections in this game, that the enemies just aggro in groups, and it's very, very difficult to get them separately. So you're almost guaranteed to fight two or more at the same time here. I think if you pull very carefully you can manage only getting two, but that's probably the best you can hope for. This is actually a section that punishes you for dying, which, or at least depending on when you die, it punishes you for dying. Which is something they've introduced in some places in this game, which is just a terrible design idea. The whole point of this game, or of Souls games in general, should be that yes, you get punished for death in the sense that you lose your souls, but the actual area should become easier because you now have knowledge of where the enemies are and all that sort of stuff. And this is just one of the sections where the bridge in the middle, which you lower by pulling those levers, it sort of acts as a natural separation line between a bunch of the enemies and yourself. So it limits how many enemies can get to you. But once you've actually lowered that, that pretty much doesn't apply anymore. They can now all get to you, and that really makes the area a lot more difficult. So next I would suggest from about here I should be able to get those guys. There's two Alon Knights up there, which will otherwise pile up on top of you as well. So I think it's pretty much impossible to get them separately. Now, if you still haven't lowered this bridge yet, as the first time through you wouldn't, then they could not get to you. And you can fire at them and they will just kind of walk around up there looking slightly confused, and eventually you'll have them dead just by firing arrows at them. Okay, next there is one Alon captain over there and one kind of hiding on the other side. I would suggest going for the close by one first. But this guy will see you and fire arrows at you. So again, multiple enemies at once, and there's no way to avoid this. You can shoot them, but then if you're in range of them, they're in range of you, so they will also fire their arrows, and that just makes it all a bit more tedious. And then finally there's one guy down there. We can kinda see him. And him... don't think he's quite in range to log on, but him you can just shoot. And I don't think he has a way to get to you, so really he just kind of stands there and takes it. And you can kill him fairly easily that way. And now I'll just go down and drop his and get his loot. So I hope that gives you a good way to get through this section. Just took me about 10 minutes, but I did a lot of explaining. Really, the trick is to go quite slowly, and I guess you really want to have a fairly strong weapon to deal with these guys. And incidentally, if you're looking to skip Smelter Demon, this is where you would then go up the ladder and continue with the section right after the Smelter Demon. You cannot get the Smelter Demon bonfire though, the one right after that fight, and you cannot get the Ring of Blades +1, which you get from the Dual Pursuer encounter. And now I am going to... I only have 21,000 souls, that's not too bad if I lose those. I'm going to attempt this jump down here, which is a bit tricky, I find. Okay, that was pretty good. And here you get a petrified dragon bone. And this takes you up to the area where 2 Alone Knights were waiting in ambush. They're kind of standing up here, but as soon as they're aggroed, they will jump down and cause you pain. This is quite a good place to get to if you're really struggling with the Smelter Demon fight. Because if you activate this Pharaoh's contraption, how many stones do I have? I don't think I've got that many. I've only got 2 left. I'd prefer to keep them. But if you activate this contraption, it'll basically pour out water, which heals you and also makes you wet. So you can basically, clear the area and then go up here, kind of roll around, make yourself wet, and that'll increase your fire resistance substantially for a while. Maybe a minute or 2, not terribly long, but at least for the first part of the Smelter Demon encounter. And that way, firstly you're fully healed, and secondly you have a decent fire resistance, so that makes the encounter quite a bit easier. And yeah, that's that. I mean, if you're really struggling with the area, the enemies only have 10 to 15, well 10 to 12. I think it's 10, I don't know anyway. They have limited respawns, so eventually you'll get there just by virtue of the enemies no longer respawning. But yeah, that's where all the enemies come at you if you're moving quite slowly. I believe all the times I had to fight more than one at a time were unavoidable. I have never managed to avoid those situations at any rate. Now let me check, did I buy the cat ring? I did. Did I also get any other pieces of equipment that lower fall damage? I got the Jester's tights, yeah. I am very well aware that I look ridiculous right now. I could even wear the full Jester set and look even more ridiculous. Actually, one thing I'll do now is talk to this guy.
Wait, you found your way out too. The name's Gilligan. Don't make me say it twice. Alright, what do you want? I have everything you need.
I think I may have got the game volume a little too quiet this episode. Let's see. Anyway, firstly we can buy items from him. He does sell the Thief set from Dark Souls 1. And some other fairly mediocre stuff. He sells an infinite amount of aromatic oozes, which is very nice. He sells a ladder miniature. I will buy this. He only sells one of them. It costs 8,000 souls. Well, 79.99, I guess, which is 80. Which is 8,000, not 80,000. The reason for this will become apparent much later in the game. We will eventually encounter an NPC who wants this for his questline. Anyway, just might as well buy it now. And more importantly, you can set up ladders for you.
You must have lost your marbles. Fine, I'm happy to be of service.
If you haven't got the cat ring or any other item that lowers fall damage, you will need the ladders, because otherwise I believe the first drop is guaranteed to be fatal. So I need, what, 16,000 souls in total? Let's see if I can get that together. 16,000, so about 3,000 more. Proud Knight should be 2,000. Nameless Soldier is another 1,000. Okay, I'm going to buy all the ladders.
What? Well, that's
You don't need to buy all of them.
very general. I get such.
I'll just skip through his dialogue. Okay, and I'll skip through this cutscene as well. It's just him putting a ladder down.
Hey, don't.
And let's also set up the cheaper one and the very cheap one.
Just. Hey, well, you just fine then. Hey,
Okay.
this ladder's not for sale.
Yeah, whatever.
Everything's ice. Aye.
So, we have a short range ladder. This is the very cheap one, the 500 souls one. This will make it possible to get down here without the silver cat ring. You will still take a bunch of fall damage, but it's possible to survive now. I think this is the medium length one, which will allow you to bypass more of the damaging areas, and this is the... Is this the very long one? I tend to get them confused. Actually, no. This one here is the medium one. And the one on the other side is the completely long one. But since I have the cat ring and the Jester's tights, I can just go through this kinda safely. And you see the first ladder really only makes this first drop possible, which otherwise is fatal. A second ladder takes you all the way down here, from where you can... I don't know if you need to jump. I generally do, I think you have to, but that takes you right here. And then the other ladder takes you down even further and actually allows you to get... You can't really see it, but right underneath the platform I'm standing on right now, I'll try to get a better camera angle. Kinda. There's a ladder going up again to a door. We'll go there eventually, but since we have the ladder, it's actually quite easy. Okay, you can see it much better from this angle. So in there is, I think, one of the items needed to access the second DLC, and just some other stuff. Or is it? It might be the first DLC, actually. I don't remember, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's enter the Grave of Saints. And we get a nice little bonfire. I'm changing the trousers back to my Alva ones. I'm keeping the ring on for the moment though, because I think we'll have some more dropping to do. Oh, and also I'll rest. If you're playing online and go into this area, be aware that there's a good chance that you will be forced to do PvP here. This happened to me the first time around, which I found just ridiculously terrible. I went around this corner and I was suddenly summoned into another world. Because this is the Red Covenant area, and the way PvP works for them is that they summon others into their world, so they pull players into their world and then do PvP that way, which I really don't know what the hell the developers were thinking that might be a good idea, but, well, apparently they did. Oh yeah, as you go in here, there's a bunch of rats. These are not poisonous rats, as you might kind of expect. They are petrifying rats. Petrify is what Curse used to be. It's an instant kill once the once the bar gets full, basically. I don't believe you get the lowered HP upon respawning. It's just, it's a guaranteed kill if that that bar gets filled. And the item in here we can only get to at a later point. We'll see. We will get that, but you can't get it from in here, basically. Okay, there's rats coming from the front. Oh, one of them survived. Oh well. Now, I believe that most of these Pharos contraptions are actually traps. Or a bunch of them. There's quite a few. This one here, for example, I'm fairly certain that's a trap. And it will make something bad happen when you trigger it. But this one, I think, will lower the bridge, which I kind of want. Now, you might think, oh, I know what's going to happen here. These rats are going to come to life. Well, not quite. And you get a poison moss here. I think... should be some other reward here as well. I don't know why they give you poison moss when this area is not a poison area. You do encounter some poison enemies, but the rats actually petrify. And you get the Whisper of Despair Hex. You could also lower this bridge at a later point with a different contraption. I think I'll show you that in just a moment. Anyway, that's all you get there. I don't even know what Whisper of Despair does. Let me see. The dark blankets the world in black. A thing of tranquility. Oh, reduces defense of opponents. Okay. I think, for example, if you open this thing here, it'll just make poison or something spout from the wall. The way these Rat Covenant areas tend to work is that since you pull other people into your world using that covenant, and this is an NPC obviously. Hey Roy. I don't know how difficult he is, by the way. I know he has got some ranged options, but I don't really know. Whoa, 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 a rat. That was unexpected. Two rats, in fact. Okay, I think that's all the rats. Thing about him is, he, I believe, has the ring equipped that makes his weapons invisible, or something like that. So that's why you couldn't see his weapons. I think he had a crossbow and some kind of sword, maybe? I don't know exactly. Anyway, the reason these traps are kind of negative is that you're meant to trigger them, and others, when invading your world, will also have to deal with the traps. That's kind of the way this covenant really works. I don't know what's up with these rats, by the way. I don't think you can shoot them. I believe there's an invisible wall here. No idea. Maybe you're meant to trigger them. Maybe I will trigger them at a later point. I never found that out. Anyway. You coming now? Yeah, there they are. As soon as you leave this room. So all these traps aren't meant to inconvenience you as much as they're meant to inconvenience other people you pull into your world. And there now follows a really very poorly designed boss fight. Sorry, I had to kind of move around on my seat a bit. I hope that wasn't too noisy. Because as we all know, this game really shines when you fight multiple opponents. The developers have also figured that out, which is why you constantly fight multiple opponents. So the boss fight really demonstrates that they fully understood what exactly Dark Souls should always be about. It is a really terrible encounter. It's just a massive pain. And I'm just about not strong enough to reliably one-hit these guys. That sucks. I think I need to kill a certain amount of these standard rats before the actual boss will spawn. Now in these huge group fights, the lock-on feature doesn't really function properly anymore, because it's very difficult to lock on to the actual enemy you're trying to attack, and hey, the boss has spawned. Now the boss is the one that does not have a health bar. I mean, it has the big boss bar, of course, but the point is when you target him, there's no health bar visible. So that one there. He also looks slightly different, but not very much. And he doesn't have much health, at least, so there is that to be said about the encounter. Okay, I'm poisoned, but I think I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll just pop a few life gems so I don't die, and then pop a poison moss. Okay, so that's one of the worst encounters in this game. Just because of how poorly made it is. It's ridiculously bad. At least they seem to be aware of that, so they put a bonfire right before this fight. But really it's just, oh, you like rats? Hey, have some more, have some more, have some more. It is really terrible. And we could join the Covenant right here, but screw that. Let's just hop down, and this is the item I told you about earlier that we couldn't get to. This is where we found the first of these petrifying rats. And this is where the area continues. And the catering really does a good job here. You should, if you have unequipped it, you should re-equip it here. Now there's one really annoying bit coming up where we have a crystal lizard. If I miss it, I'm not gonna be too fast. Yeah, this one I pretty much always miss. You just have so little time, it runs so fast. It's gone. Again, you have to be lucky, and it's kind of, the path is a little random, but mostly it runs up here. Sometimes you get lucky and it runs into this corner and then you have a chance. Otherwise, it's just, meh. You're not going to kill this. I think over there is a chime on that corpse. I'll try the jump once, but again, it's a chime. I don't really need it. Now here, really careful, these guys explode. He says, and gets hit by the explosion. They do not have much health. But you need to be very careful about the range you attack them at. As you can see, I was a little too far away, and he exploded before I could get a second hit in. So deal with those guys before you pick up, well, whatever item you haven't landed next to. Just be aware that there's 3 of them and they will all be coming at you. And we know what this guy means. This guy means there's a sublime bone dust in the vicinity. Actually, we also encounter them as regular enemies eventually, but this is not his standard area. They're just here for, I don't know, no reason at all, really. They're just guarding these sublime bone dust chests. And now let's head further down. I won't get another boss fight into this episode, and I'll also not make it too long. I think the question about the Elon Knights was posed 3-4 episodes ago. I had some episodes kind of saved up. So, yeah, I'm trying to get this one out reasonably soon so that the person who asked the question will get the information. Not sure if it was actually what he was looking for, but hey, maybe. I find Iron Keep is a fairly difficult area to tackle, unless you have a good weapon, because the Elon Knights are actually quite relentless. And if you're having trouble with one of them, honestly, I would suggest going to a different area and waiting until your weapons are strong enough to deal with them quickly. I think this is just a normal chest, yeah. Token of Spite. So this is actually an online item, but if you're playing purely offline, then you need a Token of Spite to be able to join the Covenant of Blood, or whatever it's called. The one right after the Executioner's Chariot. That guy, that NPC, will only let you join his Covenant once you have a Token of Spite. And if all you're doing is playing offline, you couldn't get one, because you're supposed to get these from invading another player and killing them. So just like in Dark Souls 1, they basically give you some option of also getting these items offline. The one thing I hate is that they give you a ring for defeating 1,000 players in PvP. So you have to invade 1,000 worlds and win. And you get a ring for that. And 1,000 is just way too high. I'd say something like 50 would be acceptable, but that really is the limit for me. Anything higher than that, and it's just becoming a requirement. And it makes PvP quite insufferable, because there's a lot of people who really only do it because they want that ring. Or a lot of people who are completionists want that ring, and thereby they have to do PvP, and you know, if you want 1,000 wins, then getting those 1,000 wins is your only priority really, so you'd stop playing fairly. Or rather, you will use the strongest and most overpowered methods possible, because you need to kill 1,000 players. And if you only have about a 50% success chance, which, I don't know, I guess if you're good at PvP it might be higher, but let's just go with it, then that would mean you'd need to do 2,000 invasions. And that's a lot of invading. Whereas if you use kind of cheap means to increase your chances, such as trying to go for areas where there's multiple invasions at the same time, then of course things will be a bit different. Anyway, let's travel to Majula. I just want to go down the long ladder and get those other items. I think I can get there yet. I might be wrong. I might be needing a key. And this was the very long ladder as far as I know. Yep. So I'll just do this quickly and then we'll do the other area next time. You should note that I have no intention of doing that area completely. I will try to get through it as swiftly as possible, bypassing as much of it as possible, because it's a really tedious place, I find. Okay. I need some kind of key for this. I don't know which one. Okay, so let's, I guess, sprint up this ladder. I mean, we could drop down further here and enter the second. Actually, we'll try that. Okay. I've never really gone this way. I don't quite know where it'll put me, but hey, we get a Ring of the Evil Eye +1, apparently. And a Homeward Bone. I think this will just put me into the gutter and avoid... Yeah, this is... Okay, I know where this puts me. This is the place the lizard runs off to. Nah, just about not in time. Anyway, I think we'll continue from here next time. Maybe I'll try that jump again. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope it was helpful for the person asking about the Alone Knights. And I guess I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.